The idea that Trump and my Republican colleagues want to restore integrity and security in the visa process is actually a joke. Let me be clear, integrity is not snatching lawful visa holders off the streets and throwing them into unmarked vans. Integrity is not revoking visas based on social media posts that hurt somebody's little feelings.
When Melania Trump calmly challenged Jasmine Crockett to a direct debate, it sounded controlled, almost effortless. But that control didn't last long, because what followed wasn't about style, it was about substance. Melania began by emphasizing image, discipline, and the importance of presenting strength to the world, framing leadership as something that requires stability and pride. But Jasmine immediately shifted the focus, bringing it down to real people, real struggles, and the growing gap between leadership and everyday life, and that contrast became the heart of the entire exchange.
I think that's actually been the really kind of scratch your head moment that we all are examining right now, really trying to figure out, are you guys trying to play good cop, bad cop, and trying to bring people in and to trust Donald Trump? Because obviously,
when Melania suggested that constant criticism creates division, Jasmine didn't argue loudly. She simply questioned whether people were criticizing or reacting to what they were actually living through. And that single distinction started to unravel the narrative Melania was trying to hold together, because every time Melania spoke in broad ideas, Jasmine answered with grounded reality, forcing the conversation out of theory and into lived experience. As the debate intensified, Melania tried to regain control by framing leadership as the ability to rise above frustration.
Considering the fact that he is the one that set us ablaze and set us on fire, I don't then anticipate that he's going to be the fireman to actually put this fire out. So listen, we don't have to trust what they say. We have to trust what they do. And what we know is that Donald Trump has bragged about the overturning of Roe.
Jasmine flipped it again, pointing out that rising above people's struggles often means disconnecting from them, and that hit harder than any aggressive attack could, because it exposed the gap without exaggeration. When Melania argued that systems create opportunity and require time to improve, Jasmine didn't reject the idea, she sharpened it, making it clear that opportunity means nothing if people can't actually reach it, and that patience loses meaning when people are already stretched to their limits. The turning point came when Melania implied that too much focus on problems creates.
There's one thing that I believe that the American people are better at, and that is being tricked or fooled. This is Donald Trump's Supreme Court that literally stripped us of our rights. And so, considering the fact that he is the one that set us ablaze and set us on fire, I don't then anticipate that he's going to be the fireman.
Negativity, and Jasmine calmly responded that ignoring those problems creates denial, and from that moment, the rhythm of the debate changed completely, because Melania was no longer leading, she was reacting. Every attempt to shift back to control was met with a simple, direct question that cut deeper than long arguments, like when Jasmine asked who exactly benefits from this strength or who this progress is really for. And those questions didn't just challenge Melania, they forced the audience to think, and that's where the real shift happened. As pressure built, Melania pushed harder, suggesting that dissatisfaction slows progress. But Jasmine answered without hesitation that people are already dissatisfied, not because they want to be, but because they've been left behind too many times. And that line carried weight because it didn't sound like debate, it sounded like truth. Then came the moment that changed everything, when Melania hinted that people should contribute more instead of criticizing, and Jasmine calmly pushed back, making it clear that people are already contributing every single day, working, struggling, holding families together, and the real issue isn't effort, it's whether that effort is valued. And that statement landed harder than anything else because it flipped the entire argument in one move. By now, the energy had completely shifted. Melania's tone tightened, her responses became sharper, while Jasmine stayed steady, measured, and precise, never raising her voice but constantly tightening the focus of the conversation. In the final moments, instead of pressing harder, Jasmine slowed everything down and returned to the idea of pride, agreeing that it matters but redefining it as honesty rather than illusion. And then she asked the question that ended it all, whether the people struggling right now actually feel represented by what's being said. And for the first time, Melania didn't have a clear response, because the question didn't attack her position, it exposed its limits. The silence that followed said more. than any argument could, because it showed that control alone isn't enough when the foundation beneath it is being questioned. And in that moment, the debate stopped being about winning and became about understanding.